The 1v1 situation isn't an ideal situation to be in as a goalkeeper, however you can do things a certain way to tilt the scale to your advantage. A goalkeeper in a 1v1 will encounter 3 different types of saves, which are used in 3 different and some similar scenarios. So in this video I will tell you the 3 different saves, how to execute the 3 different saves, and when you would use the 3 different types of saves, whilst also giving you drills to work on every aspect of 1v1s. Starting with identifying the 3 different saves. The first save is a block save and has 2 different variations. The second save is a split save, and the third save is a smother. However, I will also tell you how to approach a 1v1 correctly using the correct technique. Just before we begin, this video explains the 3 different 1v1 saves and how to approach a 1v1. However, the next video will be how to position for a 1v1 and how to save chip shots. So stay tuned for the next video. Let's begin with the approach. As the attacker broke through a defensive line and is coming closer towards the goal, then you would slowly get lower down to the 1v1 set position, depending on the distance the attacker is away from you. Once the attacker is about 5 meters away from you, then you would be in the 1v1 set position fully. In the 1v1 set position, you'd bend your knees, crouching down whilst also facing the ball to give yourself the best chance of saving the ball. You must lean forward with your upper body whilst keeping your back straight for more control and agility. You have to be on your toes to allow for fluid movement whilst also in the awkward position. Your arms must be down your sides to give the best chance of saving low shots, but also to cover more of the goal as you approach the attacker closer. Whilst in the 1v1 set position, you must move towards the attacker, closing the space as quickly as possible, whilst also keeping control of your movement to be able to stop if the attacker decides to shoot. You must take small steps and be aware of any snapshots the striker might take. Remember that if the striker is in control of the ball, then you must only move when it's safe to do so. If the striker takes a heavy touch, then you can move forward or even attempt to smother the ball. If the striker takes small touches and is in full control, then I would recommend you stay rooted to the ground so that you can react to anything the attacker throws at you. You must be prepared for a shot if the striker swings their leg back for a shot. At that point you must stay rooted to the ground on the balls of your feet, waiting to save the oncoming shot. If you manage to get the attacker within punching distance, then you can intercept the shot by diving at the feet to get the ball. Now that we got past the approach part of the 1v1, let's move into the generic 1v1 saves you would make. Starting off with the block save. A block save is a type of save where you know that you can't get the ball under control in time and the attacker is going to shoot whilst both of you are within punching distance. For a block save, you cover as much of the goal as possible, making it practically impossible for the attacker to score past you. The technique for a block save is as follows. Create a K shape with your legs, preventing the ball from going under your legs. Have your arms down your side to cover as much of the area around your body. Lean over the ball so that it makes it harder for the attacker to chip it over you, but also it makes it easier for recovery purposes, as you can easily stand up from the second shot, whereas if you leant back and you'd fall back, meaning it would be harder to recover for a second shot. Now, the way you make a block save matters. Depending on your position and the attacker's striking area and foot, you'd make a block save with your knee either pointing one way or another. For example, here the striker came in from the right hand side and shot with his left foot towards the far end of the goal, meaning that my block save pointed towards that side of the goal, and for further reference my knee pointed towards the right hand side. Another example, here the striker comes in from the left hand side, shoots with his right foot towards the far end of the goal. So therefore I'd block the shot using the block save, with my knee pointed towards the left side of the pitch. Now remember how I said there's 2 variations of block save? These 2 variations have the same purpose, have the scenarios is slightly altered. For this scenario, the ball would be slightly too far for you to make a K shape with your leg, meaning that your standard leg would be fully extended with your arms above your leg to cover all possible axes while still leaning over the ball. With this block save, it's very obvious which way you would use it. Now moving on to the next type of save which you'd encounter during a 1v1, it's a split save. Unlike the block save's close proximity, the split save you have more distance to deal with. You'd use a split save to make yourself as big as possible to attempt in making a save. During a 1v1 situation, a striker is supposed to score 90% of the time, especially in a split save scenario. The split save is the luck of the draw for a goalkeeper. However, there are stuff us goalkeepers can do to favour our odds. For a split save, you'd spread your legs as much as possible to cover as much of the lower section of the goal as possible, but also spreading your arms out as far as possible to cover a greater area of the goal. Using our wingspan, we would increase our chances of saving the ball. However, you must not forget to lean forward, and as the shot is taken, you must not turn your body, because that way you increase the space a striker could shoot into. You would use this save when a striker is about 1 to 4 meters in front of you, taking the shot. However, you must recognize when to use it, otherwise a striker may just make you look silly. An attacker breaks through the defensive lines and finds themselves in a 1v1 situation against you. As they are approaching your goal area, you'd start to come out to close the distance between the goal and lower the chances of them scoring. As you get closer to them, you'd be in that 1v1 set position, tracing their movement. Following their steps was also closing the distance, and once they swing their leg back, you'd perform the split save, making yourself as big as physically possible, hoping that the ball hits you. Whilst doing the split save, you want to have enough momentum going forward so that you land closer to the ball, making it harder to score. Try to do a split save with your leading leg closer to the ball, because that way, if the attacker decides to fake shot, by cutting back, you'll have your trailing leg as backup to snatch the ball away. Joe Hart was a master of the split save when he played for Manchester City. Moving on to the smother. This is probably the most reliable and effective 1v1 technique you will use. A smother is when you dive at a player's feet using your hands to gain control of the ball. A smother can be very dangerous for a goalkeeper, however it is extremely effective, so please listen carefully so that you don't get injured when attempting it. If a player plays a through ball too heavy or attacker takes a heavy touch, then you would smother the ball. As the heavy touch or pass happens, you must make sure that you get the ball without any hesitation, otherwise you will either get scored on or get injured, or even get scored on and get injured. Remember, it doesn't always have to be a smother if the ball is loose, because you can always smother when the ball is under the attacker's control, but you have to be close enough and confident enough to get it. As the ball breaks loose, you instantly make your mind up to go for it. Then you must scream keepers to scare the attackers, command the ball and send a signal to your defenders to get on the goal line in case anything happens. As you scream, you swing your arms towards the ball whilst diving to get the ball under control, but also have the first barrier preventing the attacker from scoring. As you catch the ball, you must bring it into your chest, with your arms surrounding it, ensuring it doesn't fall out, but also so that the player can't kick it away. Whilst doing so, you must tuck your head to protect your face in case an attacker goes to kick the ball. Whilst doing so, you would lift your top leg towards the ball as another barrier of protection, and to keep it from falling out, and have your bottom leg trailing for stability. I would highly recommend practicing this motion specifically for your own protection. Usually the goalkeeper in the moment knows best what type of save to make, as not everything in football will be so textbook, so remember to analyse the attacker coming in and use your gut feeling to decide which save to make. I'll make another video about 1v1 positioning specifically and saving / preventing a chip shot, so subscribe for the next video. Now I will show you drills which you can do to practice your 1v1s. I got 4 drills to work on your 1v1 ability. The first drill involves you handling the ball whilst going around coloured cones which are being shouted by the server. At any given moment the server will shout 1 or 2 and you will need to run to either one of the balls to make a block save as the server is striking the ball. This works on your handling, speed and agility, but mainly works on the block save technique and know when to use either one of the 2 block save variations. The second drill, you are set in the 1v1 position, and once the server says go, you would shuffle as fast as possible to the small white goal whilst holding your set position. Once at the goal, you would receive a close quarter shot before then stepping back towards the big goal and playing free from there. The server would decide to shoot from outside the box or would come in to a 1v1. This drill works on your set positions, lateral movement, reaction, positioning and 1v1 ability. The third drill, you are facing away from the post and the attacker's call. You would turn in and decide which type of 1v1 save you would do, depending on the attacker's touch, direction, speed, etc. As you turn in, the attacker would reach a cone before then splitting either left or right. Depending on where they go, you adjust to make a save. Here you can make a split save, block save and a smother. This drill works on your 1v1 decision making. Lastly, in the fourth drill, you'd pass the ball to the attacker which is standing outside the box. As they control it, they would run into the box for you to make a 1v1 save. This is where you judge their speed and direction to make the best correct save for the situation. The attacker could run wide to change the angle of approach. This drill is match realistic and helps with your overall 1v1 ability by judging the attacker's movements to the save you would make. Please stay tuned for the future 1v1 video focusing on positioning in a 1v1 and preventing a chip shot. So subscribe if you want to see that, and don't forget to like and comment save if you got to this part of the video. So other than that, that's me. See ya!